Okay, so have you literally spent your entire life seeking external validation, looking for validation in all of the wrong places, never really feeling fulfilled in your life, and always just hating yourself no matter what it is that you do? Hey everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, then hi, hello. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. I wanted to make this video because for a very long time in my life, 15 or 16 years of my life, I've been on this journey of self-loathing, hate, and just terrible self-talk that has kept me in this box more than half of my lifetime. I hated myself. It makes me sad to think of, but I also am so grateful for that time because I actually learned more about who I am and who I want to be and who I'm meant to be. So basically last year, I left a job at the end of the summer that really was unfulfilling for me. And I felt so much better when I left because I knew in my soul that that was not what I was supposed to be doing. Like, I did not feel like I wanted to teach art classes, even though everybody always told me, oh Sarah, you're so good at teaching art classes. All the parents love, like, all this stuff. The first month of me leaving this job, I was so freaking excited. I could do whatever I wanted to. I believed that I could make commissions and teach my own art classes. I had this whole idea in my head that I was gonna get this art studio, and I just had this hyper inflated ego, especially because I had gotten into 2 art shows within 2 days of each other within a week of me quitting. My ego was like, woo, all the way like up to the ceiling. And let me tell you, the crash, the reality check that I had. I started to feel really unfulfilled in artwork. I started to hate painting. I had like all of this pressure around my art because now that was the only way that I was making money. And then I also felt like I needed to be a certain type of artist so that I could sell. It was not fulfilling for me at all. It's because my entire freaking life, I had been told by everyone, I mean everybody and their grandmother, that I was the artist. I was the artist, and I am an artist. Like, that was the backbone of who I was. That was my #1 personality trait. Like, the day of the big art show, this art show that I was in with like one of my favorite artists of all time and all of these other really talented international artists. When the day came and I only sold 1 artwork, I was devastated, absolutely devastated. I cried for hours and hours and hours. I cried so much that my lips were like so swollen, and I had believed that I was gonna sell out everything. I was gonna make $1,500, and to also have the added pressure of not having this money now that I needed for rent and food and things like that, that was even more devastating. I felt like an absolute failure. I felt so shameful, especially because I had just left this job that was stable. I was making really good income and I could do my art on the side. And I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't want to talk to my parents about it because I didn't want to freak them out. I didn't want to talk to my boyfriend about it because I didn't want him to, I don't know, think that I was a loser. Like, I had all of these ideas in my head of like, oh my gosh, I can't say anything to anybody else because what are they gonna think of me? And that's where we come into all of the negative self-talk, all of the ED issues, all of the mental health issues that I had never really like unpacked from a lot of situations. November 2021 was the worst month of my entire life. I've never been so depressed before. I didn't want to do anything. I hated myself. I told myself I was stupid. I told myself that I was fat. I told myself that I was ugly. I told myself that I wasn't talented, that I was worthless. Like, you name it, I said it. It wasn't until I had been in this like depressive cocoon of liquefying my soul and kind of like breaking down all of these things that people have said to me over the years and all of these thoughts that I was having in my head and everything, that I realized I have literally hated myself almost my entire life. I've been concerned with what other people think that I've never actually really stopped for a good solid minute to really look at, what does Sarah want? What does Sarah like? What does Sarah want to do? How does Sarah want to dress? How do I want to show up in this world? And I started to ask myself those questions. And the reason I started asking myself those questions is because I had really spent that time being in such a dark place, in a dark night of the soul, a rebirth, whatever it is you want to call it. And I finally felt like it's time for me to learn how to stop hating myself. It's time for me to learn how to stop seeking for external validation from other people. Every moment of my life, every step of the way, I have always been hyper concerned with what other people think. And if you want me to do a video on how to stop being a people pleaser, totally let me know in the comments down below, because I could write a whole fucking book on that topic just in itself. When it came to learning how to stop hating myself, it all started with breaking down what I thought other people wanted from me. None of that really was ever me. It was always just other people trying to help me move forward, and I took it as, I need to be an artist, this is the way of my life, and blah 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 blah, and da blah blah, and blah blah blah, right? I was setting myself up for failure from the very beginning. At the beginning of 2022, I decided that I wanted to start to try and change my mindset, because my thought was, if I've been telling myself these awful things for so many years of my life, why not every single time that I catch myself thinking something like that, why don't I just try and make it into something positive or start to affirm myself? The power of the mind is something that I feel like a lot of us in this world take for granted. When I started to go through this journey, I had so many sticky notes on my mirror, I had sticky notes on my laptop, I had sticky notes everywhere, little affirmations. I got up in the morning, I prayed into a cup of water. I tried literally every kind of like mind trick on myself to make me start to love myself, to make me start to be like, you don't need external validation from anybody else. From February until May, I was like, gotta get up, gotta get out of my bed, gotta get away from the Netflix, gotta stop eating all of that stuff that I'm eating, gotta take care of my diabetes, gotta do all of that stuff, because those are all forms of self-love. It wasn't until I went up to the cabin and I really had that last I was totally disconnected from everything, and it really allowed me to break through any of those doubts, any of that validation that I had from other people and other things, and really like cut those ties away from all of those things that were still holding me back and holding my anchor. It's okay to go through things so that you can become a better version of yourself. That chapter, those 15, 16 years of my life are some of the most transformative years of my life. Those years of me hating myself, every single thought and feeling that I had has all of that power I have taken back and realized I am this amazing, beautiful, divine human being that is here on this planet for a purpose. There doesn't have to be some great reason why you have to love yourself other than that you're you and you're here and you're alive and you're experiencing this universe. You're valid just the way that you are. You don't have to try and be somebody else or fit into a mold of what other people want you to be, because trust me, I have watched so many people in my lifetime do that. I have done that. I am perfectly fine the way that I am, and so are you. Not only did I try and change my mindset, right, and speak affirmations out loud and read affirmations on the mirror and things like that, but I also journaled. And I am not one who thought that I would be a journaling type, but I journal almost every single day. Everybody makes fun of me whenever I say this, but I'm a tactile learner. I like to do things. I like to use my hands. You probably noticed I use my hands a lot. Journaling was something that was visual and something that I could do with my hands, and it really allowed me to connect with my mind, my body, and my spirit in that way. If you are really struggling, I find that journaling works. There's affirmations, praying, whatever it is for you, but also to realize like this is a mental game. Yes, things happen in this world. Yes, people say and do terrible things at your expense sometimes, but you can't control any of that. You can't control if it's gonna rain. You can't control if, you know, your husband's gonna leave you at the altar. You can't control what the girl says to you in gym class. You can't control all of these other things and these other people because they're all their own individuals. But what you can control is your own mind and your own soul and your own heart, and the way that you view yourself and the way that you react to those things. Have you ever had a day where you wake up in the morning and you're like, fuck, I don't want to go to work, I can't get out of my bed? Those days are the worst days because everything just keeps happening in the worst way possible. You get to work, you spill your coffee all over yourself, you've accidentally switched your lunch with somebody else, your boss needs to talk to you, and it's just like something that you don't want to deal with, right? Compound and they compound because you keep telling yourself, I'm having such a terrible day. So obviously you're gonna keep having a terrible day. Mindset shifting is the way in which I stopped hating myself. Honestly, this life that you have is yours to live. And you can either react to things, to people, to events in a negative way or in a way that is not self-serving. And it's okay to be self-serving and being selfish sometimes, okay? Because coming from me, someone who literally spent their entire life worried and seeking external validation and not wanting to make people upset with me and always making myself quieter and making myself smaller than I actually am, not showing how powerful I am, it really hindered my growth, and it also made me have this false identity that of course I'm gonna fucking hate because it's not even who I am. So why would I like it, right? When you start to think outside the box of who you're meant to be and who other people say that you're meant to be and all of these other factors that go on in your life that are from the outside, right? Things that you can't control, that is where you're going to really struggle. Because how are you supposed to improve? How are you supposed to love yourself? How are you supposed to care about yourself and be like the best version of yourself when you're always concerned about this thing that's over here? You need to start changing your mindset and realizing, what can I learn from all of these different situations? How can I change my mindset around the way that I view myself so that I can be successful and productive in who I want to be? How can I change that mindset shift? Is it going out for a walk? Right? I love going out for walks. Like without music, it just like clears my mind. Maybe for you, that's playing the piano. Maybe for you, that's literally going kickboxing. Sometimes you gotta let your rage out. You need to start really taking accountability for how you react to situations, because that right there, that's the little secret key of how you're gonna start to slowly reverse those things, those thoughts, those actions, all of those things, and reverse hating yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it helped some of you out there. Please let me know in the comments down below if there's any other types of videos you would like me to do a topic on. If there's any other topics you would like me to make a video on is what I meant, okay? And give it a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so you guys never miss an upload, and put those little bell notifications on, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye! Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?